Hey guys, today we're cracking open a tiny glass jar filled with something that looks like melted butter left in the sun. It smells faintly like honey but with a sour edge, and it jiggles when you shake it. Like it has secrets. You're staring down a teaspoon of royal jelly. 1,000 wellness blogs swear by it. Your neighbor swears by it. Your daughter bought you a month's supply for your birthday and said, "Mom, it's like bee Botox." And now here you are, with that weird little spoon hovering near your lips, wondering, is this the secret to aging backwards? Or just another overhyped goo? You probably won't survive getting older with your dignity intact. Let's just be honest. Your knees sound like bubble wrap. You bend down and stay down a few extra seconds, just in case. And every label on every product suddenly says, consult your doctor if over 65. Like that's the new national warning sign. So before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe. But only if you really like what I'm doing here. So, royal jelly. The creamy substance bees feed only to their queen. She gets it from birth, and unlike the rest of the hive, she lives years, not weeks. You're not a bee, obviously, but the symbolism isn't lost on anyone. A goo that makes queens tempting, especially when your energy's lower than your phone battery and you're rationing steps like it's the apocalypse. Let's get scientific for a second. Royal jelly is packed with B vitamins, amino acids, and a compound called 10-HDA, short for 10-hydroxy-2-decenoic acid, which sounds like the password to the fountain of youth. Some believe it boosts collagen production, reduces inflammation, and even improves cognitive function. For an aging body that's slowly forgetting why it walked into the kitchen, that's a triple threat. But here's the rub. Almost none of this is FDA approved or backed by long-term human studies. You're essentially trusting the internet. And bees. That's the modern gamble. Still, you take your first taste. It's oddly sour, not unpleasant, just foreign. Like your body doesn't quite know whether to thank you or panic. You imagine your cells waking up and saying, "Hey, is this breakfast or a prank?" The golden goo coats your tongue. You wait for the magic. Nothing happens. Yet. But the idea has already planted itself. If this worked for the queen, maybe it can at least help you survive your morning walk without needing a nap afterward. There's no denying that royal jelly is a symbol of possibility. But is that enough to swallow? The hype? You wake up the next morning expecting to feel different, lighter maybe, younger if the bees had anything to say about it. But instead, you feel mostly the same. Except for a strange little buzz in the back of your head. Not a headache, more like a mental itch. You lie in bed wondering, is this the beginning of sharper thinking or is your body just confused? Because here's what everyone's saying. Royal jelly balances hormones, improves memory, and even fights off the dull, gray fog of aging. That sounds great, right? But what exactly are we talking about here? Hormone balance is not some magic switch. For seniors, it's a delicate ecosystem. Estrogen, testosterone, insulin, all of these can make or break your day, your appetite, even your sleep. And royal jelly supposedly nudges them all in the right direction. But how does it know where the right direction even is? In theory, it's the 10-HDA again, that mysterious fatty acid unique to royal jelly. Some say it mimics estrogen in the body, helping with everything from joint pain to dry skin. For postmenopausal women especially, that sounds like a gift wrapped in beeswax. You're not trying to reverse menopause, you're just trying to stop creaking when you stand up. And if your knees could talk, they'd probably scream, "Whatever helps." But here's the catch. Anything that acts like a hormone can also misbehave like one. You're not running on a 25-year-old system anymore. You're driving an elegant older model that needs specialized parts, and throwing in a bee-made hormone imitator without a mechanic? That could go either way, and yet the temptation is real. You think about that article that claimed beekeepers have lower cancer rates, Or that lady in her 90s who swore royal jelly gave her energy in her bones. There's so much buzz, pun very much intended, that it feels almost irresponsible not to try. What if you're missing out on something big? Something queen-sized? Still, there's the uneasy fact that research is sketchy. Animal trials, yes. Small human studies, sure. But nothing solid enough to frame and hang in a doctor's office. And that's where the academic debate always lands. To eat or not to eat? Is royal jelly a natural hormone harmonizer or just bee-flavored hope? You stare at the tiny spoon again, weighing the mystery. You want the energy. You want your memory back. You want your body to feel like it's not falling apart one joint at a time. But do you want it enough to play hormonal roulette with bee juice? There's no answer yet. Just a quiet maybe that echoes every time you open that little jar. Later that week, something weird happens. You're halfway through your morning crossword when your heart starts doing this uneven cha-cha. At first, you think it's the coffee, too strong. Then maybe anxiety. But your hands aren't sweaty, and your breathing's fine. Still, your chest feels off. Not painful, just jumpy, and that's when it hits you. Could it be the royal jelly? You shuffle to the fridge, pull out the jar, and stare at it like it's a suspect. It looks so innocent, creamy, fancy, expensive. But suddenly you remember reading that royal jelly can trigger allergic reactions in some people, especially those with asthma or sensitivities to bee products. You've never had a serious allergy, but you've also never spoon-fed yourself fermented insect spit before, so who knows? You sit down, phone in hand, Googling royal jelly side effects. The list isn't long, but it's not pretty. Rashes, shortness of breath, anaphylaxis in rare cases. There's even a case where someone with high blood pressure took royal jelly daily and ended up in the ER. Something about vasodilation, adrenal stimulation, blah blah, whatever it was. It scared you enough to close the browser and go lie down. Suddenly, the miracle elixir feels more like a gamble. You think about all the things you've tried to stay healthy. Turmeric pills, fish oil, even that celery juice craze from 2 years ago that gave you the runs for a week. But this feels riskier. Because the older you get, the thinner the line between health boost and medical scare. Your body doesn't rebound the way it used to. You don't sleep it off anymore. You schedule a doctor's appointment and get blood work. And here's the kicker. Royal jelly is a supplement, not a medication. That means it's not tightly regulated. No one's triple-checking the dose or ensuring your jar is free from contamination. You could be taking something pristine, or something that sat in a warehouse next to an old lawnmower. That little voice creeps in again. The debate never dies. Is this the natural boost your tired system needs, or are you just swallowing risk in a honey-flavored costume? To eat or not to eat, that really is the buzz. On one hand, royal jelly has been used in traditional medicine for centuries, credited with everything from improved fertility to wound healing. On the other hand, you're not living in ancient China. You're in modern suburbia with a pacemaker and a pharmacy rewards card. You open the fridge, hold the jar in your hand, and seriously ask yourself, am I helping myself or playing with fire? The answer's not clear yet. But one thing is, miracle or not, nothing should make your heart skip that kind of beat. You're sitting at your kitchen table holding the jar again. You twist the lid off slowly, like opening some ancient artifact. Inside, the golden goo still gleams. Thick, glossy, unbothered. It looks exactly like it did the day you started, and somehow that annoys you. Like it should have changed if it were working. And yet you can't stop thinking about the queen bee. She's born the same as every other female bee in the hive. But the moment she's fed royal jelly, everything changes. Her body morphs. Her lifespan explodes. While worker bees live a few sad weeks, the queen clocks in at 5, sometimes even 6 years. In bee terms, that's like becoming immortal. And all because of one substance, royal jelly. So here's the obvious leap. If it worked that kind of magic on her, what can it do for you? But deep down, you know this is where things get sketchy. You are not a queen bee. You are a 72-year-old human with a knee brace and 3 pill organizers. You can barely digest kale without backup from antacids. And yet, the fantasy is so seductive. It's not just about living longer. It's about living better, feeling strong, vital, maybe even sexy again. Don't pretend you haven't thought about it. The supplement industry runs on dreams like this. Eat like the queen, they say. Look younger. Feel stronger. There's a whisper of power in every spoonful. But does power come with pressure? You remember your friend Linda. She tried royal jelly for 6 weeks, swore it made her skin glow, but she also started obsessing over every wrinkle, every ache, every gray hair. It's like I saw what I could be, she said. And then I hated everything I wasn't. That's not health. That's stress in a glittery disguise. And the truth is, most of the benefits you've heard about, reduced inflammation, improved memory, better immunity, come from preliminary studies, many not even done on humans. You're making decisions based on bee logic and lab mice. Still, the possibility hums in your brain. What if you are one of the lucky ones? What if it does help you sleep better, move easier, or think faster? You're already halfway through the jar. Isn't that something? To eat or not to eat. To believe or not to believe. To be the queen or just another hopeful worker. You take another tiny spoonful, slower this time. It melts on your tongue, earthy and sour. You close your eyes, not expecting a miracle. Just maybe, a little more light in your step. Maybe that's all this is. A small, golden placebo in a world full of promises. You stare at the last 2 scoops in the jar. The creamy swirls have thinned out. It doesn't look as magical now. Maybe because you've lived with it for a few weeks. Maybe because the glow of the unknown has dulled into daily routine. You still don't know if it's helping. But you haven't stopped. That's saying something. This is where it gets personal. You've kept track. Your joints still ache, but less. Your sleep? Meh. Some nights good, some nights weirdly vivid. You had a dream you were in a bee colony once. You were wearing a crown made of wax and leading a dance around a sunflower. Make of that what you will. But emotionally, there's a subtle shift. You feel like you're doing something, like you haven't given up. That counts. Still, the logic brain kicks in. You think about all the variables. Was it the royal jelly? Was it placebo? Was it the change in your morning routine that made you feel better, or the fact that you actually started drinking more water like your doctor begged you to? It's the eternal struggle of supplements, impossible to isolate cause and effect in the lab of real life. But maybe that's not the point. Maybe the question isn't whether royal jelly is a miracle drug or a health trap, but whether it helps you right now feel a little more in control. And a little more curious about your body. The debate never really ends. To eat or not to eat. The science is foggy. Some experts say it's promising, others say it's nutritional fairy dust. That phrase made you laugh out loud. It stuck in your brain like a bad jingle. Still, fairy dust has its charm. You look in the mirror. No, you don't look younger. But there's something in your eyes that wasn't there last month. A little more spark, a little less shrug. You've started walking a little more. Smiling at your own jokes again. Coincidence, maybe, but you're not here for perfection. You're here for progress, and that's the quiet power of trying something new. Not because it's guaranteed, but because it means you're still in the game. Still choosing curiosity over defeat. Still wondering what's possible. You close the jar. The final spoonful waits. Maybe you'll take it tomorrow, or maybe not. But either way, you're not the same person who opened it. So here we are, drifting gently toward the end of our little experiment with bee magic. You've wandered through hormone talk, risk warnings, queen bee envy, and your own quietly buzzing hope. You didn't get a miracle, but you got a story, a small adventure, a moment where you chose to explore instead of settle. You've earned the right to be skeptical, to ask, does this even work, and mean it. And you've also earned the right to believe in a spoonful of possibility if it makes you feel seen, strong, or just a little more awake in your own skin. There's power in trying. Especially at a time in life when everything wants to slow you down. Maybe royal jelly is a placebo. Maybe it's a biological whisper from nature herself. The truth is still being studied, still unfolding. But what's certain is that you showed up for yourself, and you listened to your body, to the facts, and maybe even to a tiny queen bee buzzing somewhere deep in your imagination. Whatever you decide, whether to eat or not to eat, just make sure you're choosing from a place of peace, not pressure. And if you do take that final spoonful, take it with grace. Take it with curiosity. Take it like royalty. Thank you for sticking around, beautiful soul. If you're still listening, I hope your knees feel lighter, your heart beats calm, and your mind stays buzzing just enough. Sleep sweet tonight. Like, subscribe, and share this with someone who needs a spoonful of wonder.